Death claimed her, but Alison Botha refused to stay. She crawled through the darkness to find the light, proving that even when the body is broken, the spirit can remain invincible. This is the woman who redefined survival. December 18, 1994, Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Alison Botha was 27 years old when she pulled into her apartment parking lot after a quiet evening with friends. It was an ordinary night, the kind no one remembers, until a knife pressed against her throat. Before she could scream, she was forced into her own car. A second man appeared, the doors locked. The city lights disappeared behind them as they drove into remote bushland, somewhere chosen precisely because no one would hear. What followed was not random violence. It was deliberate annihilation. She was attacked, stabbed more than 30 times in the abdomen. Her intestines were pulled from her body. Her throat was slashed 16 times, so deeply her head was nearly detached. They left her there in the dirt, absolutely certain she was dead. But Alison was not dead. With her neck open, organs exposed, and blood pouring from her body, she understood one thing: if she lay still, she would die. She did something almost impossible. She pressed her hands against her wounds, physically holding her own body together, and began to crawl. Every movement tore flesh. Every second defied what should have been the end. Before she lost consciousness, she used her fingers to write in the sand the names of her attackers and 4 words: "I love Mom." Shortly after, a passing student named Tian saw her. Using his training, he stabilized her and called for emergency help. At the hospital, doctors were stunned. One surgeon said he had never seen injuries of that magnitude in a living patient. But she survived the operations and the pain. While still barely able to speak, she identified her attackers. Franz du Toit and Zuns Kruger were arrested and sentenced to life in prison in 1995. But Alison didn't wait for the court system. She became one of the first women in South Africa to publicly speak about her story. She refused silence. She became a motivational speaker, wrote her memoir, and traveled to more than 35 countries saying, "I survived." In 2016, her story was told in the documentary Alison. Then came another shock. In 2023, both attackers were granted parole. Alison was not consulted. In 2024, she suffered a brain aneurysm. Many believe the emotional strain played a role. But in 2025, after public pressure, the parole was revoked. Her attackers were returned to prison. Today, Alison is fighting against the physical toll of her survival. She has 2 sons doctors once said she would never be able to have. She has saved countless lives simply by telling the truth. Alison Botha didn't just escape death. She crawled toward life when death had already claimed her. She held her own body together with her hands. As she said herself, "I realized my life was too valuable to let go of." Some people survive. Alison Botha redefined survival. Survival is a choice, and Alison Botha redefined it. She turned a tragedy into a legacy that continues to save lives today. For more powerful stories that change the way you see the world, hit that follow button. You won't want to miss what's coming next.